Welcome to Forage Drops. This is Lilian Silva. I'm the Forage specialist for Clemson University, and today in this video, I'll be talking about Forage basics for small ruminant systems. So let's get started. So goats are top-down browsers, and they are able to select higher quality leafy material when they're grazing. And they usually enjoy and thrive on pastures that have shrubs and small trees. And they will be selecting that material as they graze it. They can be used for controlling some undesired vegetation, especially on areas that there's been not much control of weedy materials and more woody materials actually. So they sometimes can be used to control those species instead of burning or using more herbicides applications, even if we would just consider more often applications instead of using them. Then when we're talking about the difference between goats and sheep, they will differ on the foraging behavior, and the nutrition that they need as well. And sheep will generally prefer forbs to grasses, and they require a forage quality to be adjusted throughout the season, which is pretty common for other livestock categories as well. So when we're talking about the basics considerations that you should be doing for a small ruminant system, we should be thinking about planning your forage budget, calculating how much forage you need for your system based on the number of animals, on the category of animals that you're going to have throughout the system. And if you have lactating animals, or if you're just going to have animals that you're going to be selling for meat production later. So all that needs to be well put into your forage budget, because it's going to be something to consider what level of forage quality you're going to need, what requirements you're going to have throughout that season. And it's always good to think about extending the grazing season as much as you can, just because you're going to be able to rely more on the animals grazing instead of having to feed much hay. And this helps with the profitability, but also with the sustainability of your forage system. So when we're talking about this, we're actually talking about the cost of buying hay outside versus the cost of buying seeds and establishing some cool season pastures in our southeast region of USA. So this is something that's worth to make the calculations and see what is going to be more economical for that small ruminant system. And when we're talking about the forage species, when we are going to make a choice, select which forage species you're going to use, there are a lot of factors that should be considered, including the soil and climatic conditions for that site, for that location of your farm. And also, as I mentioned before, it's always important to make the calculation of the costs. So you need to know if that's going to be economical for you. And there also management requirements that should be considered. So for some forages, you might be able to have less intensive management inputs, not only regarding the nutrient replenishment, but also the level of the workload related with the defoliation, the grazing, or moving the animals, it's going to be required. And then it's also important, as I mentioned before, to consider what will be the animal requirements throughout that season. So you can really work on adjusting the forage species that you're going to be using towards meeting as much as possible those requirements. So you're going to rely less on supplementation from out of farm, which increase the cost of production there. And not only it's important to understand the requirements, the animal requirements, the diet requirements, but also it's important to understand the forage requirements in terms of the nutrient replenishment, the growth pattern, the foliation, the recommendations in terms of the foliation and management that those forages are able to thrive. So all that information, you can always reach out to the extension system and really use our research-based recommendations, because that's how we generate the stubble height that should be leaving behind, the regrowth interval recommendations. All those recommendations are obtained through research that we have conducted before in research, and that's important to really be able to get the most of those forages and those forage systems. With that, I conclude what I had for this video. As I mentioned before, this is forage drops. This page, these videos, this type of timely information is available on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram now. And my name is Lilian Silva. I'm the forage specialist for Clemson Universe. My contact is here if you have any questions, or you can always reach out to me through this email, or you can reach out to your local extension agent. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you can follow up on the next ones as well. Thank you.